Hey, 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 happy Friday, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you so much for joining me on the third episode of Coffee with Staci. I am your host, Staci McDonald. This is a really informal format, a really informal show, something that I created during this pandemic to kind of bring a little hope, a little inspiration, encouragement to people in the world as we go through this unprecedented, um, interesting, strange times in our world. So, we have a really, really, really great subject today, and I have a great guest. We're going to talk about the life of mom, the life of mothers of children with special needs. We're going to specifically discuss um, self care tips, things that will help to keep you going, to build you up as you navigate your way through the joys and the trials of parenting children with um, significant um, needs. So my guest is someone that I met just about a year ago. She is in a support group that I'm a part of, and I'll let her tell you what the name of the group is. And I just find her to be really interesting. She is very open about her journey as mom, caregiver, and also very giving about how she takes care of herself um, in spite of her challenges. So I'm going to bring her on in. Her name is Yvette, and we're going to bring her into the studio and we're going to get this conversation started. Let's see how do you do this. Again, I don't know if I've ever told you, but I am a chef by trade. I am not a video person. So if you would please bear with me as I try to get myself through all of these like technical kind of things. There she is. Okay. Add her to the stream. All right, here she comes.
Hello.
Hi. Whoa. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right. Are you ready to get this conversation started?
Yes, I
Yes,
am.
I'm super excited. Okay, so we are here to talk about the life of mom. The like jobs of mom. Well, the role of a mother is has its challenges. It has its joys, as any mom can attest to. But I have found that the road to caregiving, the road to taking care of a child who has a disability or special specific needs, is far more difficult than just the regular. So and I know when I met you, so I'll just tell everyone when I met you, you were very open about your challenges, about like your daily life and how, even though it was hard and you would say, I'm exhausted, I do a lot and I need a break, but, and everything that came after the but was just like so inspiring to me. I'm like, wow, this woman is really like taking charge and kicking butt. It's not. And so it often made me, and I hadn't told you yet even about my daughter, but I'm like, it really made me evaluate and reevaluate every time you talk. Like reevaluate, what are you thinking? Like, what are you really doing? How much of what you're actually doing is or saying that's keeping you from doing what you want to do? Is that an excuse? Or, so I really, really appreciated you about, just being so open about your life. And so I thought, in this time of Corona, when we're all at home or all have, readjusted our lives to be more at home, and especially parents, we're, with our kids doing distance learning and things like that, we're spending more time with them, which means less time for ourselves,
Right.
much less than we even had given to ourselves before. So I thought this would be the perfect time to talk about self-care tips. And I noticed that you have like a really structured um, way that you take care of yourself. So I just wanted to talk about that. But first, if you could just tell everyone who you are, introduce yourself, tell us about your profession a little bit, and then about your life as a caregiver.
Yes. Hi, my name is Yvette Loza, and I have been a caregiver for almost 20 years. I guess if you want to count helping raise my siblings and all my life. I started doing caregiving for the elderly, and then I transferred over to working with teens and young adults with developmental disabilities and, emotional. Um, I guess I hate using that term, but emotionally disturbed, foster care youth and things like that. So I've been doing that for about uh, 12 years or so. Um, and just getting into that, just helping people has always been, something I've always done. So I guess caregiving just kind of came naturally since I've always, been one. And working with that population, it kind of led me to be able to help my own children and child and realize that there was something, that was going on there, more than, I, just more than a hyper child, overactive child. So, it just led me to, just push more to get to the bottom of, what's going on there. And yeah, it wasn't easy. And it still isn't. But just kind of getting in there, doing research, and like I said, just demanding help, and trying to figure out how to best help my child who was really struggling, in school. And it took a very long time to do that. So, just getting to that point, it was just a real struggle trying to navigate through the school system with very little assistance. So, just the frustration. And then, you're doing your job, you're working and you're trying to, live as normal of a life as you can. And then all these things, just kind of start to unfold, and then you realize, oh my gosh, there's more going on here. So we have to, adjust and, figure out how to navigate this life now
Right.
with, these new diagnoses.
Right. And so, having this being your profession and then it's your life at home, how does that impact you as a person? Like, how does it impact your physical life, you as a
Well,
person?
for a long time, and you kind of just do the best you can with what you got. You just keep going, because you have to.
Hmm.
But by doing that, you start neglecting yourself, which is what I did. And I became ill. So I was kind of forced into taking a better look and, having to end up in the ER
Right.
to, hey, you really got to start looking at your health and, making some changes here.
Hmm.
And after finding out, my son has been diagnosed with autism and ADHD and a mood disorder, you just have to, switch your mindset and just kind of, you have to look out for everybody else. And for a long time, I was just kind of putting a band-aid. Okay, let me get fixed up for a little bit and then just kind of keep going,
Hmm.
and until I just couldn't do it anymore.
And
And
how do you rationalize that? Because I think that a lot of parents do that. They say, I'll just, I'll go in a month, I'll go in a year, and then a year becomes 2 years or 10 years. What is it that you told yourself as you're putting on this band-aid that kept you going? And then what was the breaking point? Like, what happened?
I think for a long time, I don't know. For me, maybe it was a lot of guilt, like just trying to be there as best of a parent as you could, and then having to work and trying to raise, my kids. And there's guilt. There's just so many things that go through your head, that you're not doing well enough as a parent or as you should. And, that starts to take care of not only your physical, state, but your emotional, which was happening to me. And I've had a lot of things happen, some family tragedies, come up in between them that kind of also forced me to say, hey, you need help there too. So, just seeking out therapy and, things like that, just trying to, get some, better tools to be able to cope with a lot of the emotional turmoil and stress that comes with that. And then, you feel like you're fighting the battle alone, like nobody understands. And people try to, oh, we're there for you, we understand. And a lot of times, that's not the case, and people love you, you have your family members, but a lot of times, it's just they still they try their best to understand, but nobody really does, which is why a lot of us and myself and yourself turn to online communities, support groups, which have helped a lot. I've learned a lot about the way the system works, things that my child was entitled to, lawyers, therapies, all sorts of things that's out there, and a lot of people don't realize that they have that. Even in times of technology, people still don't know what is out there for them. And you know we really have to try, well, I want to try to bring that to people. Like I said, just working in the field and hearing all these stories, and some of them are really sad, because people don't know how to navigate the system, and some really sad things start to happen. And I want to help with that. Which is why I'm going to school, and I'm trying to get my degree in psychology. I want to do behavioral therapy, and just kind of be an advocate for families like mine.
That's wonderful. And I understand, I know that you are also starting, or have also started an online community right here on Facebook. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I just started a Facebook support group called You Wow, um, which stands for um, Upward and Onward. Just like it's a support group that again caters to not just parents, but any caregivers or family members, friends, caring for people with special needs. I want to bring a more interactive group together where people can come, and I'm hoping that we can start chatting maybe once a week, and especially right now, nobody has time or is able to go out and socialize with anybody. So I thought, with people struggling with their children right now, and the online learning thing, and nobody could see anybody, that would be something that would help people, just have a safe place to come in and just kind of vent, or share their small victories, anything, you know
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe that's important because as caregivers, we kind of suffer in silence because we feel that no one understands us, and we feel guilty if we say, you know, openly, I'm tired. It's really
or oh my
it's really
god,
hard. Oh my God, this kid's driving me crazy,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Mine is sitting right here. She's right here, and she's singing. She always, whenever I'm in conversation with someone else, she always sings,
Hmm.
and it it makes me feel a little weird to say she's really driving me crazy. Like she's really, and it's like loud, but I digress. So it's really great to have a place to go where you can talk to other people who are going through similar experiences, where you can just not unload, but you can let it go.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah.
let it go and have someone to support you and to encourage you, to give you information and resources that you might not know were available. So community is very, very, very important.
Most definitely. I mean,
Hmm.
just try for myself, just getting out there, trying to find any little bit of any tools that I can use to try to, help myself. And if I could share that with other people, there's mindfulness, meditation, yoga, just exercise, taking walks. When COVID started, I started walking, 2 times a day, and exercising in between, just to kind of cope with that. And, my mental health at that time, you're just like, oh my God, and my son was working on graduating. So we're just like trying to adjust to the distance learning thing. And it was just, rough because they didn't have they never planned for anything like this,
Right,
and
right.
they had so many glitches. And oh, it was just rough,
Right.
really
And
rough.
definitely, definitely rough because here you are already, overly scheduled for this child,
Hmm.
and you're now thrown into additional roles because I don't think people understand or are aware that when our kids, or at least when my child goes to school, it's not just her and her teacher. There are teachers, there are specialists,
Hmm.
there are nurses. She has like a whole team of people that she has to see in a given day, and now all of that responsibility falls on me.
Hmm.
And then people say, well, that's your kid. You're supposed to be okay. So what? Suck it up. But I'm thinking, yeah, I know that. Duh.
Yeah,
But I have the right to say, oh my God. It's like, please help me to not have a panic attack. Can you even understand that that's very, very overwhelming? And
yeah,
so, it's just like, yeah, we got to talk about this. We have to tell
yeah,
people,
most definitely.
you got to
Yeah,
find
I
a way
mean,
to cope. Yeah.
yeah, we're just made to feel like we're just not allowed to have these feelings because we chose to be parents. So there you go. You deal with
Suck it
it,
up. You
and
deal with
that,
it.
right.
And I get that, but there needs to be a lot more grace given to just to parents, period,
Oh yeah,
especially to mom. It's right, especially to mom,
yeah, yeah.
because everything is on her shoulders. When she wakes up in the
Hmm.
morning, she has to be, you know, bright and bushy tailed, and
Hmm.
wonderful demeanor, and
Yeah.
taking care of her. It's like that, like those old TV shows, where mom's handing all the lunch bags to
Oh
the
yeah.
kids,
Hmm.
and she's,
Hmm.
come on, like, and it's just like I've been in places and spaces. Here she comes. I've been in places and spaces where like moms are talking and we're having a conversation, like in our support space, pouring out her heart, tears streaming down her face, and kids are like banging at the door, opening the door. Hey, mom. She's like, can I have 5 minutes? And I'm like,
Right.
that's a good mantra. Can we get 5 minutes,
Right.
please?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, come back. She takes care of your entire life. Can she have 5 minutes to talk to other women who are supporting her right now, just to give her a
Hmm.
space to say, this is me. I'm a person. I'm not mom. I have a name. My name is
Hmm.
Stacy. Your name is Yvette. I'm an entirely whole person, and I need somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because a lot of us, have had to give up our careers to just kind of do this full time. And sometimes that's hard to cope with, or to accept. And it, we've accepted it. We know what our lives are going to be like. But sometimes you're just like,
It comes in waves.
yeah.
Yeah, it comes in waves because you're like, man. Okay, so like my daughter, she's never gonna be able to live on her own. You know, so I don't get the dreams of like college graduation, weddings. I don't get that.
Yeah.
So I take my joy where I can. But, woo!
Yeah.
Okay. So self care tips, Yvette, because I know you have
Yes.
really great ones. Because um, prior to me even coming to this revelation, I had a health crisis. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes because I hadn't gone and yes, I'm telling y'all, I had not gone to the doctor in 10 years because I had a lot going on.
Hmm.
Not a good reason, and I don't like to give excuses, but that's what it was. 10
Hmm.
years, I kept putting it out. I had a list, literally, and it was at the bottom of my list. Go to the
Hmm.
doctor. I mean, all the appointments I was supposed to have, they were all at the bottom of the list until one month, like in July of 2018, I collapsed on a street corner, a public street corner, with my daughter, me and her alone there. So that was clue number one. Went to the emergency room. They said I was anemic and gave me some stuff and said, go see your doctor. And I said, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Guess when I went to the doctor? In November. Not July. I went in November. And then in November, that's when it just kind of, all went downhill. And they still didn't even diagnose me with diabetes for like a year later.
Hmm.
So, and You know, collapsing on a public street corner should have been like the wake up call. But for some reason, being diagnosed with a disease was just kind of like, nope, you got to get it. You have to
Yeah,
get
like
yourself together.
I don't have
Yeah.
time for that. Like,
No, I don't have time
well,
for that. Yeah, you know, especially they're like, you know, if you don't get yourself together, you're gonna die. Okay, well, death is a good motivator. I don't want to be motivated something by like something like that, but it literally made me say, you know what, you have got to put yourself first.
mhm.
Because you're running around doing all of these things, trying to run a business, trying to take care of a kid, trying to do all these things for other people and all this stuff, but you won't even take yourself to the doctor. And what are these people going to do if you die?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be without you. They
Yep.
have you halfway right now, first of all. You're on half a tank, if that. And then if you're not here, they don't have you at all. So health was number one. So that's self-care tip number one. Put your
Mm-hmm.
health first. If you haven't
Yep.
been to the doctor, take yourself to the doctor.
Yep.
If you're supposed to take medications, take your medication.
Yep.
Health is your most valuable asset next to your
Exactly.
peace. Next to
Yep.
peace. Without health, you don't have anything. What's next, Yvette? What did you do? Okay, you found out about your health and you said, I'm going to take control. What did you do? What was the first thing you did?
I just started making little changes, with things that I was eating because I kind of had no choice. Things were making me sick. Well, in between that, just kind of going through doctors because they were just giving me answers that just didn't make sense. So you have to be your own advocate, You want to trust that people have your best interests at heart, but then, they tell you, well, you just have to lose weight and, or else this is never going to get fixed or whatever, so they don't give you a lot of options. So I spent a lot of time, doing that, trying to search for a doctor that was going to actually help me and not just kind of dismiss me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that starts taking a toll because you're feeling really sick and you don't know why. And, and our group that we belong to with
Shout out to Sugar
Mary
Mama
Van
Strong.
Dorn, you have to be your own detective, and just figure things out. And, it took me a long time to, again, find those doctors that were going to work with me and not just tell me, okay, you're fat.
Pretty much.
This is how it's going to be,
Right.
and,
Right.
just figuring out what was actually wrong with me. So getting that taken care of. And again, the mental health aspect of it, because, you're trying to take care of all these people and you're falling apart, and then you're like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. Like, how am I supposed to do this now? So again, just getting your mental health, because if you're losing it, how are you going to do anything, so
Right.
just finding this wonderful woman that I work with, and she's just been a great help,
Absolutely.
so yeah, just mental health, physical health, mental health.
Absolutely. And exercise plays a big role in it because it helps you to relieve stress, which, caring for anyone is highly stressful. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people internalize, they just kind of stuff it down and they do things that are they don't feel that they're destructive. People think that things like food are, what's the word, not as harmful as they actually are. They think, oh, if you're drinking, you're an alcoholic. Well, overeating is the same thing. Smoking
Mm-hmm.
is it's the same thing. It's the same thing
Mm-hmm.
as taking a drug. And so those are the kind of things that people need to look at. But exercise is definitely a great stress reliever. So that's, tip
Mm-hmm.
number 2, get your
Mm-hmm.
exercise in, even if it's just taking a walk, getting
Mm-hmm.
out of your environment and just being alone with yourself and your thoughts so that
Mm-hmm.
you can rejuvenate and regenerate yourself, replenish your energy, your physical, your spiritual, your mental energy, because mental health issues among caregivers, I'm pretty sure, are really prevalent. It's just no one's saying anything.
Yeah,
Again, we
there's
just we
just
tend to.
it's taboo. There's a lot of stigma. People are just embarrassed. They feel shame. All those things. And then if you're coming from a different culture, you just feel like, you just never talk about those things. Like,
Right,
and I'm, second generation Mexican American, and, you just don't talk about those things.
right,
And,
right.
just being able to, and even talking with my kids about, yeah, I need to get that little bit of help just to keep myself from losing it, for you
Right.
guys, I'm open with them about it, you
Right.
know.
That's
I,
great.
I, I- you spend so many years feeling like you have to hide or be ashamed, and there's no shame in getting help.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And speaking of your children, how do you feel, or what do you do? How do you set clear boundaries with people in your life? Because I tend to notice that people want what they want when they want it from you, and they kind of overlook the fact that you have this whole other world going on in your life
Yeah,
that
and
really
there's
it takes precedence over.
yeah, people have a lot of answers. Oh, you should do this or you should do that, and when you think I didn't haven't tried that, like I wish it was that simple.
Right, right.
Again, just you have to set those boundaries, and sometimes it's with your own loved ones, your family, and just letting them know that, hey, I'm going through something here. And I have to deal with it the way I have to deal with it. And I know for me, I've had to distance myself from a lot of people because I wasn't going to be made to feel like I was doing something wrong or not raising my child the way they thought I should be raising my
Right.
child. And then just some of the behavioral things that were just kind of, they gave you the looks like, oh, here we go again, and it's like I don't have time to deal with all that. So, you put them at a distance a little bit and just kind of pick and choose who you're around, and who's not going to be judgmental and things like that. And sometimes that's what you have to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. I also have here have a consistent schedule. We are probably the most scheduled people on the planet. I don't think people realize that
Yeah.
either. But I want to say, like, having a consistent schedule for yourself. For me, it's, I have to go to bed at 8 o'clock. I don't, that's when I'm tired. That's when, because I'm up at 5. I have to get up at 5 because she gets up at 6. So my day
Mm-hmm.
starts extremely early. And now that we're distance learning, it doesn't make it any different just because we're still, in our home. But getting up on time, having my coffee, getting myself
Oh yeah.
dressed, doing all of that, and then making time for the things that I want to do, like exercising,
Mm-hmm.
like reading a book if I want to do that, and just doing something that I enjoy in addition to all of my other responsibilities. So how important is it for you to have a schedule for yourself?
Oh gosh, it's so important because and the thing about a schedule is that schedule is going to change constantly. You could be the most planned and it could be the most planned and thought out schedule, but there's still going to be things that are going to be unpredictable, and you just kind of got to roll with the punches. But for me, I also get up early because I have a lot of stuff to do. So I prep a lot of times I'll prep the night before because that's the time I have to, really concentrate on my schoolwork or just getting, clothes ready or whatever for the next day. Because I exercise, I also have to squeeze that in too. And of course, my son, when I made the commitment to myself that I was going to get up at like 5 in the morning to exercise, he decides he wants to get up around the same time. So I'm like, come on, man.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I just kind of have to, be flexible a little bit with that. But I definitely do have to, look at my week. I try to look at my calendar Saturday and Sunday to see what's coming up for the week and just kind of plan accordingly. And then just catch whatever gets thrown my way.
Right, right. Now you mentioned that you're going to school, so that's something that you're doing for yourself, and I think that's also really important. That's another self-care tip. Don't stop working on yourself.
Right.
It's really, really important. So you're going to school, and what other things are you doing?
Well, right now, with the pandemic, I'm not really doing much of anything. I'm just, working on my health
Right,
mainly. Yeah.
right.
Doing the schoolwork and just trying to get my son to that next level of, he will also hopefully be, starting school at some point. So hopefully, there's some programs that will be helping him kind of do that on his own.
Hmm.
They'll be with him, but just kind of trying to get him used to being a little bit more independent. So we're working on a lot of, you know, um, things like that. Um, but yeah, online learning has been a little, not just for the kids, but for myself. It's been I like to be in the classroom,
Hmm.
but we adjust again. It's like we're just have to be flexible.
Absolutely. You
Yeah. So,
absolutely have to be flexible.
and
Um,
again, I'm working on this, group, um, to kind of to get that going.
yeah, because that's important, I think, and I think the more that we do for others, even though we're doing a lot, it kind of adds to the joy of your own life. That's why I wanted to do this show. It's completely informal, like it's just it doesn't have to be perfect, but if I can just get into good, really great conversations with people, help somebody. So yeah, so I wanted to talk about reflecting, re-energizing, and reinventing yourself, and also the other self-care tip is like show yourself some grace. You're not perfect, and no one expects you. Well, you shouldn't expect yourself to be
Yeah,
perfect.
we got people judging or whatever already. We don't need to be beating ourselves up about it, which is something that I did for a very long time. And, just kind of not doing that to yourself. I mean, why? Why are we like making our lives harder than they already are?
Absolutely, absolutely. And know that you're doing a phenomenal job. You're doing something that the average person is not, and you just you're taking it one day at a time, doing the absolute best that you can every
Yes.
single day. So anyone who's
Yeah.
watching, you're doing a great job. Just
And,
keep going.
just getting, your mind right and, feeling again, like you said, energized, getting your health together. And then you just start to realize, hey, there's more to me than just being a mom, a caregiver. I had dreams, I still want to, fulfill. And, that's why we're here doing what we're doing.
Absolutely. And that's so important. Don't ever give up on your dreams.
Hmm.
Just because being a caregiver doesn't mean that's like the end of your life. It's just an
Right.
extension of your life. It's just a layer of your life. And the moment you take the step in the direction of whatever it is that you want to do, I don't care if you want to fly a plane or, write a book, whatever. Take the step.
Hmm.
The entire world is gonna rise up to meet you. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. It's happened in my own life, and so just go for it. But I just wanted to have this really one in a series of conversations with you because this is such a layered topic,
Yeah.
and I hope to come back and talk about other things with you.
Oh, most
And
definitely.
I really appreciate you spending your time with me. And I will see you very, very, very soon.
Thank you for having me,
See you later. Bye, everyone. Thanks for
everyone.
coming.
Thank you.
If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section and we'll be right there to answer. All right. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.